Hi everybody. Today we're going to be reviewing Polk's MAGNIFI Mini AX Soundbar. Hi everybody, my name is Gavin. I'm here with Audioholics today reviewing the Polk MAGNIFI Mini AX Soundbar system. Now right away, out of the box, instantly surprised by this soundbar because we're so used to traditional soundbars that are long, pretty thin, but the Polk MAGNIFI AX comes in a very compact design, real short and sleek. The only weird thing, it is a little tall, but that's because they've packed 5 speakers into this soundbar and it really shines through when you start to hit that sound. The soundbar comes equipped with an OLED panel, which makes it really easy to see, volume up, volume down adjustments, selections that you're making. The subwoofer that comes included has a nice, sleek appearance, definitely fits any modern home, definitely leads to a better look overall, and it can kind of hide in your entertainment system instead of being a giant subwoofer next to your TV. The downside to the soundbar construction-wise, I would say, is that we can't mount it to any wall. It wasn't a big personal deal for me, probably not for a lot of people, but if that is what you're looking for, you can't do that with this soundbar, but it is small enough to where it'll fit on a shelf. The only other drawback with the soundbar construction-wise, I would say, is the power brick that you have to have. The power brick is outside of the soundbar, so it is kind of clunky. It is a little big, but it's not too big of a deal. Finally, the remote, it's your standard remote. It's what you're going to get. It doesn't light up or anything like that, but it has, rubber on it so you can feel around and get a good touch and feel for it, but it's your standard equipment. And one last comment I would like to make about the build quality, and I know it seems silly, but when things are heavier, it just feels better quality. I mean, we're talking there's better speakers in here, there's thicker wire gauges, there's just more technology packed into it. And I know that's an old-timey way to view things, but I feel more confident in my technology when I feel like there's some actual weight behind it because I know what's in it is going to be quality. All right, now for the connections and control part. When looking at the soundbar, very typical plugins. We have the HDMI ARC. You use that for your Dolby Atmos, or you could use it for an optical or 3.5 auxiliary jack. The soundbar does come included with an HDMI cable. It doesn't come with an optical or 3.5, so obviously not the most optimal way to do sound, but personally I have it running through an optical cable and I am impressed beyond belief with this soundbar. And then finally, your last option is Bluetooth connectivity, which the Bluetooth in it is Bluetooth 5.0. It works great. Everything connects super fast, and it even has the ability to connect multiple devices to the same soundbar. So if you're having a party and you have Spotify playing, multiple people can be connected to the soundbar and take control. So that's a fun little feature. Now onto the setup section of this review. It's just like any other soundbar. You plug in the power to the subwoofer, you plug in power to the soundbar, and it's instantly going to connect. It wants you to connect to Wi-Fi to do updates and stuff like that, but it took over immediately for itself. It was super easy, very simple and straightforward. And going even further, connecting it to your TV or syncing it with your TV is just absolutely fantastic. With most soundbars, you're stuck with now a separate audio remote, and then you have your typical remote for your TV. But what Polk has done is that they are able to sync this soundbar with any infrared controller. So if the remote you're using for your TV, follow the directions in the guide, and you'll have it synced to the soundbar in less than 30 seconds. And now you don't need that extra remote. You only need it for EQ adjustments and things like that. Also on setup, you can connect to Apple Play and your Chromecast and stream through the soundbar that way as well. All right, now to the sound part of this review. This is what we've all been waiting for. Now, I gotta tell you right away, this thing is absolutely incredible. I don't think there is another soundbar that can come in at this price point that you can get such an incredible sound in such a small package. Now, how the Polk soundbar accomplishes such incredible sound is using their SDA, or stereo dimensional array technology, and this is solely a Polk thing. Now, this soundbar also comes equipped with the Dolby Atmos technology, which allows the soundbar to project sound in all areas of the room, right, along with following the sound on the screen of individual objects. Now, the Polk soundbar doesn't have up-facing speakers, so you can't get true Dolby Atmos sound, But because of the stereo dimensional array technology in the speaker, they were able to virtually create that feel. So even though you don't have speakers pointed up, you do have speakers pointing out and 3 pointing forward. And when you do have it on the right setting, it does create a very three-dimensional feel, even though it's coming out of just one sound bar. Now, to increase that feel and get that sound to be a true surround sound, you can buy the additional speakers that get mounted behind, so it's a 7.1 surround sound system instead of 5.1, and I believe those are about $200 extra. Now, there is a downside to the Polk audio bar. It doesn't come with any EQ settings. Now, if you're a real audiophile, this might grind your gears a little bit, but for the casual listeners like me who don't like fidgeting with their technology and fine-tuning their sound, this is excellent. Polk has included 4 modes to listen to this soundbar in. Music mode, obviously for music, movie mode, which is pretty good for movies, or 3D mode, which I'll talk about more because that one is really impressive, or night mode. Now, music and movie mode are pretty straightforward, right? They're going to fine-tune the EQ for those things. But personally, 3D is my favorite. To test out the 3D setting, I decided to load Gravity from HBO onto my TV, and wow, what a cinematic masterpiece. But how intense and terrifying is it when you feel the spinning around in space, because the sound is literally spinning around you because of the Polk surround sound system built into it. It just takes your movies to a whole other level, and that's when I was floored by the technology in this speaker to really show what it's capable of. Now, my second favorite mode for the Polk soundbar is the night mode, because if you're a night owl and maybe you live in a neighborhood where houses are closer, or if you live in an apartment or condo, or you live with someone who happens to go to bed, night mode is perfect, because what it's going to do, it's going to reduce the bass and it's going to increase the mids and the highs, so you're able to still hear dialogue or hear, things happening in your game, whatever it may be, but it's not going to wake up other people because the bass isn't punching through as much as it was before. One last thing about EQ I do want to mention, while it doesn't have any specific EQ settings, Polk did include on the remote an option to increase voices or increase bass. So if you're ever watching a movie or a show, video game, whatever it may be, and you just can't seem to get that dialogue to cut through, it does have an option to increase that or maybe even reduce the bass. Now, one thing with build quality I do want to mention when it comes to the subwoofer, while it is a sleek package, it pumps out tons of sound and does sound fantastic, it is a plastic casing. So with a plastic casing, you are going to have the drawbacks of it not being as dense. You're going to get a little more rattling at higher volumes, especially over time with wear and tear. All right, if you enjoyed this review, if you could give a thumbs up to our video, check out our Patreon page and subscribe to it as well. This is Gavin from Audioholics. Keep listening.